Hi guys, Sparks Witty here. I just want to give a quick intro for these videos. What you're about to watch is a excerpt from episodes 184 to 187 of our podcast. This was right when the shut-in for the quarantine happened here in California, and when that happened, we had to decide what to do with our topics for the podcast. And at that time, what we decided to do was to just record the next four movie reviews: A Quiet Place Part 2, Mulan, New Mutants, and No Time to Die, as if we had seen them, and just say what the movie was in talking with each other. We didn't talk about it beforehand, as in we didn't plan what happened in the film. We just improvised it on the spot when we recorded and had to yes and each other. And this was our way of having some fun with what had just happened with all the movie delays. So if you're watching this, you are just watching those fake quarantine movie reviews, and I hope you enjoy it. And hopefully at some point it'll be fun to look back and see how many things maybe we guessed correctly or we're just sounding more interesting, we'll say. I hope you guys really enjoy this. I thought they were very funny. So here they are, the quarantine reviews.
All right, that's all the news we got. So I guess we talked about the only movie we got to see. We are the only people in the world who got to see A Quiet Place Part 2.
Mm-hmm. We got we were
It came out the week it was supposed to. I don't know what everyone saw.
I saw it in my $4 theater. It was great. Going to the theater was great. I haven't talked about the movie yet.
So now if you guys want to skip, you can skip ahead. Of course, there will be spoilers. We'll spoil the whole movie if you want.
You can't skip ahead. This is live.
When you listen to this later, you can skip ahead. If you are listening to it now, sorry.
Plug your ears.
Plug your ears for an hour. No, half hour, 15 minutes. I don't know. Whatever.
We'll see how long it goes.
So let's sort of full spoilers. Really, guys, full spoilers for A Quiet Place Part 2. Mm-hmm. So what do we think about this one? Let's go around the horn. Ben. That way, Ben.
Yeah, here I am. Yeah, I thought this movie was great. I mean, the opening scene was like shocking, like seeing all the aliens come down and just wreck everyone's shit. The fear, panic, the sheer panic on everyone's faces. Like the scene, I mean, it's the scene we saw in the trailer, of course, but just to see the whole scene expanded, like when we see John Krasinski walk out, he's talking to his buddy, and they're like, "Hey, what's going on?" And Emily Blunt, her character, hold up, I forgot her name for a hot second. Evelyn, thank you. Yeah, Evelyn's taking the kids to school, and everyone's like, "What's going on?" Like they slowly see the descent into madness, and then the aliens show up, and like, ah! It was great. I like that. That's one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie. It's just when you see everything go to shit, it's like, all right, I can dig it.
Sparks?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I haven't seen Cillian Murphy in a movie for a while, and I thought he was doing a really good job.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed his performance, and also I like that the daughter got to be the standout. She's basically the lead of the movie.
Yeah, that's true.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Also, I'm happy to see my boy Jimon Hansu killing it. So,
Literally,
I thought overall it was good.
Literally killing it.
Oh yeah, totally.
And I'm glad that it didn't leave a room for a sequel.
Oh yeah.
Ryan?
I think I'm the odd man out here. I was pretty disappointed. I watched A Quiet Place last. I agree with Ben. I think the opening is the best part of the movie. I honestly kind of just wish it was like just that part, because I really felt that it went way too sci-fi when the first movie was really grounded. And it's just, we'll get into it when we get into major spoilers, but I just thought the ending was like, what kind of movie did you want to make, John Krasinski? And I think you guys clearly liked it, so I'm really curious what you guys have to say about this, because I thought the choice was pretty bold, but it might just be my own personal thing. I thought I was disappointed.
Well, when it was revealed that the aliens have the lasers coming out of their faces, I don't know what to think.
I think that's like they're like the Queen. Maybe because they didn't do that in the first movie, and that's what really bothered me.
No, we got to see them in the thing, but it's kind of this weird retcon that John Krasinski was trying to. I kind of feel like this was his audition to be in Cloverfield.
Yeah.
No, I just feel like this was them letting us see more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought for me it was too much. And let me tell you the exact point I realized I didn't like this movie. So the main daughter, if you remember from the first movie, she has that Reagan. She has that device on her ear that like sends out a signal that like messes with the aliens, right?
It's called a hearing aid.
Hearing aid, sorry, but like it's like an anti-hearing aid. Like they turn it into like a weapon. It's a hearing aid. Yes, I did not like the fact that they turned the hearing aid basically into like a sonic cannon. I thought it was way too sci-fi, and it is very makeshift and very like grungy. But just like seeing this little girl hold this like sound cannon, I was like, "Are you Cable?" Like I do you guys like that? Because
Ryan, hold up. Ryan, you have to admit the scene where Reagan is using the sound cannon. Because obviously they found an effective weapon, and when they use a sound cannon, because their whole face is armored. It's really armored. It's really protective. So when they use a sound cannon, their flaps open up, and to see Jimon Hansu cock the shotgun and blast that alien's head off, you have to admit that was freaking cool.
Sure, it's cool, but like
Do you guys remember when we went to see when we saw Stargate and we did our bored and annoyed, downright annoyed with Stargate? I didn't think I heard. I once thought I was like, I'm not going to hear more cocking of weapons than I did in Stargate.
Oh.
I could not believe how many times they're just cocking shotguns left and right.
Again, the finale is, I think, too much.
That's because the sound design is still meant to escalate all the sound. They're still going for that environment of how people are trying to hide from the aliens.
That is a good
keep
point.
Quiet. And look, you can't repeat the same formula of the first film. It couldn't be the exact same kind of tension. And that's why they add in things like Emmett, and Emmett not really trusting them, but also wanting to kind of be a good person because he'd given up on humanity.
Okay, hold on. He also sees the baby. He sees the baby. He's like, "Oh my god!"
Not only that, his relationship with Regan is really good.
All right, so Emmett. Yeah. So I didn't like. It reminded me a lot of The Last of Us, and I know you guys haven't played it, but Emmett turns out to be Lee's brother. And I'm just like, this makes this world so much smaller that you happen to run into Lee's brother. I'm like, yeah, they lived in like the same area. And like we see in the flashback, he's at the beginning in the flashback with Lee. Like you don't see that in the trailer, but Emmett's there. But I'm just like, we don't need another John Krasinski. And I do like Cillian Murphy a lot, but I do feel like they needed to fill the man void when it did not need to be there.
Yeah, but I don't feel like he was another John Krasinski because, he'd been estranged from the family for a while and he reconnects with the daughter more specifically than anyone else.
Yeah, I guess I'm just thinking of The Last of Us.
And it just brings, I grant you it's very Last of Us in the way that they handle it, but it doesn't feel like it's just retreading John Krasinski in the first film.
Okay.
But I did get the implication that perhaps the not the youngest child. Who was the child that died in the first one? I'm sorry, I didn't refresh.
No, that was the youngest. The little
because
boy.
the youngest is the baby in this one. Who was the child in the first one?
The boy that dies in the beginning of the first film. Bo. That's Bo.
Oh. Didn't they imply that was actually Cillian Murphy's kid?
Okay, I did not catch that.
I didn't catch that either.
I might not have caught it, but
there was a scene where there was a lot of back talking, and it was like a pretty emotional scene. But there was a lot of people yelling. And why are you guys yelling? This is the sound.
Why are you guys yelling? Exactly.
And that's the reason the finale happens, and it pisses me off. But I don't know, man. I don't know.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. That he would be upset with them because that was his son.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I didn't catch. Okay,
is there bad editing?
I kind of see that, but I didn't feel like I caught that when I was watching it.
No, I didn't catch it.
I may have extrapolated or something. Maybe
we got to see it again. Yeah.
Probably.
I definitely see it again. I still think the sound design is masterful.
It is
carrying on from the first one to this one. And I still think that there's that whole bit when they first meet up with Emmett and he takes them inside and they have to hide.
Yeah.
That is the most tense scene of the film.
Again, it is really tense. Like I am being negative, but because that first movie was like so small and grounded, and I just feel like it went a little too far in trying to build on the world. And again, because like at the end when there's like dozens of these creatures, and it's just like you have all these people shooting guns, and it's like half silent, half guns cocking. I'm just like, I feel like I'm almost watching a Zack Snyder movie, and I don't want to be mean to John Krasinski because like it's
Zack Snyder's like aesthetic wasn't slow motion but sound.
Yeah, and he does incorporate a little bit of slow mo here and there, but like not enough to.
So the gun cocking didn't really bother me as much because they did it with purpose.
Yeah.
Now let me explain. So obviously there's that one scene where you have like 3 or 4 aliens or 3 or 4 monsters trying to get them in that warehouse right after they just had that big major breakthrough. Mm-hmm. So obviously they're trying to get them in spots so Regan can use her sound cannon so they can get weak. So they're just going So they're trying to mess with the aliens to lure them into traps and then sound cannon them up, and that's where they get them. So that
but
part,
you're wasting ammo.
Well, they're still.
But that's a lot of the way that I agree with Ben is that they were strategizing with what they had. I mean, I grant, like maybe gun cocking isn't the go-to that they should have used.
And again, I'm flip-flop on it because it is a movie built on like using sound really well. So like there are really tense moments where they have to cock the gun, but they do it silently. But just don't do 7 of it at the same time. Like it doesn't sound good to me.
Well, also we did see Brandon, to your point of them wasting ammo, you did see Emmett, like once he like popped his shotgun, you see a round go up and he catches it in midair and reloads it back into his rifle.
That is kind of cool.
That just seems like a waste of effort, though.
It looks cool.
Yeah, it does look
cool. It does look cool. It does look cool. But at least they know. At least props to John Krasinski for being like, okay, I know we see this scene a lot. There's already a round in the chamber, so let's make it so they go catch it and then reload it so they have that round back ready to attack the alien just in case they get a good shot.
And credit where credit's due, I thought that this movie was going to be like an Emily Blunt vehicle.
I wanted it to be, honestly.
But it isn't. It's Regan's.
No,
and I think that's really cool for that girl.
It is cool.
And she does a really good job.
The part where Emily Blunt almost died, I'm like, no, don't.
I
kind of wanted her to.
I think I'm just like imagining, because I just watched it so recently last night. I think I thought I knew what movie I was getting myself into, and I guess I have to just be more open to, hey, maybe we can go things a little weirder. But I just don't think the execution was there the whole time, because
it's the problem with going. It's the problem with doing sequels in general. You've got to.
It is.
You always think you got to go bigger, but I don't think they needed to go bigger.
Well, you know what? I won't a fight on at all is that I still would have rather, I think on the whole, even though I enjoyed this, I would have rather had a film that takes place at some other point with some other group at some other place in the world.
Anthology.
With the same thing rather than following the family.
Yeah,
like maybe.
That being said, I still like what they did with the family, but that still, to me, is the better concept of what they should have pursued in a sequel, is just be in a different place.
Yeah, like maybe instead of having a family out in a rural part of they don't. I might have missaw, but they don't really tell what state they're in, right? Or do they? I forget.
I just watched it, but I don't think they say what state they're in.
I don't think they do.
I didn't catch it in the second one either.
Like
but instead of like a northwest or a northern like Minnesota, Wisconsin area, an area with a lot of woods,
go somewhere urban.
Yeah. So but also maybe.
That's how I felt it.
Yeah, but also maybe a sequel or even maybe a third one if they do want to do it, just staying away from the family, because obviously this one doesn't set up a sequel. Maybe do an anthology film about another family in, say, New York or Los Angeles or San Francisco.
Something more urban. I agree.
Yeah, in an urban jungle sort of thing instead of like the actual forest.
I don't really want another. Even if they did that, now I'm.
But guys, listen.
Good.
So, A Quiet Place 1, it ended not like a cliffhanger, but it under the impression that a bunch of aliens were coming, and Emily Blunt cocks a shotgun, and that's the end of the movie.
They finally find out how to kill them. They finally find out an official way to kill them, which is with the white noise, the high pitch, make their heads pop open, so they could blow their heads off.
I had a point and I forgot. Oh, dang.
Sorry.
You were saying inciting action.
Nope, I forgot it.
Because she ended the movie and she's already.
Thank you. I want to talk about the cliffhanger ending, because it's almost like the same thing, but like it's confirmed that these are aliens from space. And I think it's personally kind of just lame that like it was like a meteor that came to Earth. I think that's really lame. I thought John Krasinski could do a little more imagination. I guess that's like the most realistic way you can do it.
But
I'm
the first one. The first one reveals it's a meteor from space.
Oh, does it? But like we see it like happen in this movie. But I guess
I know, but it's in the first one.
Okay, I guess I just somehow missed that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, like they're not very sentient. They never break that. That they're more animalistic in nature.
Yeah.
Except for the one king or queen alien with the weird laser eyes.
I don't understand what the laser was for.
And it wasn't in the movie
long enough
for me to really even like care.
Because you needed something to counter the sound cannon.
Yeah, that's literally the reason it exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Cool. I do like the designs, like the weird, like I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking. Someone was like, "This is just me. All these aliens look the same." I was like, "It's because they're designed by the same person. The Cloverfield monster, the Quiet Place monster, and the Super 8 monster, all designed by the same guy. Also, the aliens, Green Lantern. They're all designed by the same guy." Which is probably why I think that this film, more than the first one, is trying to lean a little bit more heavily into its Cloverfieldness.
Yeah, and again, the cliffhanger at the end is like they're all looking up to the sky after it's a big battle, and it's a beautiful starry night. But then you start to see like flickers, and you see like meteors approaching Earth, like the final wave's coming for the sequel. And I'm like, I don't know if this movie is going to make enough money to even.
I wouldn't be surprised if on one of those meteors was the Cloverfield monster.
Oh no!
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
They didn't officially say it's a Cloverfield movie yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I mean, honestly, anything to expand the Cloverfield franchise, I'm fine with.
Yeah.
I don't think Ben would be.
No,
I know, but I mean, like, why not have another good movie in that series? It's got one.
Yeah.
2.
One.
You
One and a
like
half.
the first Cloverfield?
I like it less as years go by.
Oh, I'm going to say 2.5 then, because I like Cloverfield. I like Cloverfield, the 10 Cloverfield Lane, and I like half of Cloverfield Paradox. So
I'll go with 2.5. 4 if there's a Quiet Place.
True. Yeah.
I'm fine with Quiet Place. Just staying in Quiet Place.
We know that.
I think found footage as a genre just hasn't aged well on me.
Yeah, that's
that
fair.
could be.
Yeah.
I recently rewatched the first Cloverfield film. I think it's pretty good.
I recently rewatched it like in the last year and a half too, and I was like, a lot of this works a lot less on me.
Got Lizzie Kaplan in it. I like it.
Yeah.
All right,
I'm good.
What was your favorite moment of the movie? Let's like go around. What did you guys? What's your favorite moment?
I had to think about this, Ben.
Yeah, go ahead. I know.
Besides the opening scene, which I think was like really built the tension of the film, and how everyone was freaking out that, oh my god, these monsters, and they don't know how it's going. It's definitely the scene where they get their first time they work together, and Jimon Hansu cocks the shotgun and blows the alien's head off after Regan uses her sound cannon against it. I think because that's when they all realize, because as far as we know, they're the only ones that know that we can actually kill these things conventional, normal human ways. They can be defeated. They can't be killed. We can hunt them down. So the first time they realize we have a fighting chance, and just to see that spark of hope that, we can win. I think that was a really good. I think that was my favorite scene in the movie, and also just the look on Jimon Hansu's face when he just perfectly hits his target, and he's just like, oh shit!
I will say I did not expect Jimon Hansu to be the ringleader ahead of Emmett. Yeah. I didn't expect him to be the more in charge one.
He took the reins from him.
No, he really was the alpha in the situation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is good for him.
My favorite moment, real quick. It was the silent fist fight between Emmett and Jimon Hansu's character. I forget his name for some reason. Did they even say his name?
I don't think they say it.
They don't.
Jimon Hansu's dope, but he has a silent fist fight where they're so mad at each other and they need to take out that aggression, but they wrap their hands with some type of material.
Bubble wrap. It's bubble wrap.
Is it bubble wrap?
No, it's not bubble. Bubble wrap makes noise though. It's
only if you pop it.
Like the thin kind of bubble wrap, right?
Oh,
the really small one.
Maybe it was all pop, but they wrapped their hands with something comforting, and they had a silent fist fight. And I was like, this is almost like a silent movie, but also they're fighting. It's weird, and I thought it was an artistic choice that I quite enjoyed. It was a very personal fight between them.
Yeah, I would say I'm a sucker for single take shots. So the opening single take shot, look, it's in the trailer. It's an easy grab. I like single take shots with the bit in the car and leading into the bus moment. I think that's a good moment.
It is good.
I think for me it's probably when Emmett first brings them in.
Yeah.
And they're hiding from the aliens as they approach, and when they have to sneak their way out as it's coming into the tube, and they sneak their way out and around. And they're actually creeping along the backside of the other one.
Oh, and it's like the dual shot.
And it's the kind of thing where it would almost be funny.
Yeah.
But they nail the tension.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. What about the scene where Emmett, Cillian Murphy's character? What about when he dies?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I felt something, but I didn't feel enough.
So
I want to say I'm happy that they didn't kill Jimon Hansu.
Yeah,
me too.
Definitely.
Me too. Because that happens too much.
I mean, to me, it was kind of like what John Krasinski did in the first movie, like when he sacrificed himself to save his family. But at the same time, this one is just what? What are you doing, Rick?
What is it?
I'm doing the John Krasinski. He's never just
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, Ben, because I thought Murphy was delivering such a good performance throughout the film, but when his kind of sacrifice-ish moment came, it just didn't feel like it had been
earned.
Yeah, earned.
That's what I mean by trying to do he wasn't the same character as Lee, John Krasinski, but he basically filled the role of I'm going to be the sacrificial hero again. I'm why do it again?
But I can agree on that point, but I don't agree about his character up to that point.
The only one thing that I'll give credit to for him when he does sacrifice himself to save his family is that he is you can see in Emily Blunt's face that she's like, you are now redeemed in my eyes. I will now tell my children about what you did, and we're not gonna look upon you in scorn anymore. We were estranged, and now we're not. So I mean, I guess it's kind of like an honorable death, but at the same time, it's like you don't need to die. You had this great scene with Regan. Like finding out that he learned sign language so he could talk to her was just so heartwarming. And now he dies. I'm like, why did you do that?
That was part of my problem with Evelyn's character a little bit, is that it felt like she was carrying such a big chip on her shoulder towards Emmett, when Emmett was clearly the one who like had like been on the right side of the argument that happened between them.
I think it's because like Emily Blunt has kind of become hardened since the first movie. Like she lost her husband. Sure. She now has a child she had to take her out. So she's like on the defensive. So she's always like she's more aggressive, which I think kind of almost hurts the character a little bit.
I was also really happy that there wasn't a scene where we were just focused on like, is it going to kill the baby? Because I felt like that would have been a retread of the first one too. And just a hugely focused like scene on that. There really wasn't like, yes, the baby was in jeopardy, but it wasn't like a dragged out moment.
I watched a lot of The Walking Dead with the baby, and I'm like, I don't need to see all of that again.
Right. Yeah.
But also the first film has such a great moment with the alien about to kill the baby, or you kind of like think it's going to kill the baby.
And
difficult to top.
I'm glad they didn't do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Me too.
I think that's about it for me. Like it's fine. Like I was just like, I'm surprised it took such a sci-fi twist. I'm glad you guys liked it. I kind of just wanted another Quiet Place. I didn't want a sequel to Quiet Place.
Okay.
I just knew like once we were following the family, I'm like, this can't be the same movie.
Yeah.
If we were somewhere else, like Ben suggested, somewhere urban, I could totally see it being like a very similar format, but like taken in a different way.
Yeah.
And kind of deliver that same feeling that we got from the first one. But I knew this one had to be different.
Yeah. Do you guys like it more or less?
Less.
A little less than the first one. The first one I think was great because it's just a totally new concept. But of course, it's a sequel. I know what I'm getting myself into, so it's a little different.
Though I agree with Ryan, I wish it didn't go quite so big. I wish it had toned it back a little bit more. Not went from the 6 of the first film to like the 11 of this one. Maybe like a 7 or an 8.
It got just a little too much, a little too action packed for me at times. I'm just like, it's not why I came to this franchise.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would you rate it? Sparks, why don't you go first? Rate it.
I give it a 7.5.
7.5?
Yeah.
Ryan?
I would give it a 6. I was disappointed. I don't want to lie to myself. I give it a 6.
Okay. Ben?
I'm actually going to echo what Sparks said. I give it a 7.5 also. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love a lot of scenes in this movie, but just the whole thing. I mean, the only thing that did trip me off was the queen alien, whatever, shooting lasers out of her face. But besides that, I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think a 7.5 is about where I'm landing. All right. Shall we move into our next topic?